So hello everyone, I just got back from seeing Silent Hill Revelations in 3D with my friend. Um, and it's that time of the year again, so I've got a cold. I've always got a cold. The reason I cough so much is because I have bronchitis and yeah, just whatever. But basically, okay, let's talk about this movie. So it's Orange Wednesday today, and of course it's Halloween. So even though I'm not supposed to celebrate Halloween because I'm Muslim and it's kind of haram. Um, I didn't want to not do anything, so I said to my friend, you know what, it's Orange Wednesday, so we can get a buy one get one free ticket, which basically means you two people pay for one cinema ticket if you work it out that way, so it's like half the price. So let's go. So we went to see it. Of course, it was in 3D, and I think it was a lot better in 3D than it would have been in 2D, purely because I'm just gonna say I didn't think the movie was that good at all. I actually thought it was pretty poor. And one of the positives about the movie was the 3D in it. Um, so a bit of history about myself and Silent Hill. I understand it's a video game series. It's very popular. It's very much revered. It revolutionised the genre sort of thing. I understand that. Personally, I never played it. But I saw the first movie and I kind of get a gist about what it's about, so I'm not completely clueless, but I'm not really, like a mega fan like some of my friends were. And the reason I actually went to see this was because another friend of mine was saying she wanted to go see it for her birthday. So when me and my other friend were in the cinema watching Sinister, we saw the trailer for, the Silent Hill movie, and it was advertised in 3D and it looked really good, so we were like, you know what, that'd be pretty cool to see. We didn't really make any plans until last night, and I said, you know what, let's go and see it because it's Halloween. She was like, yeah. So we bought 3D glasses, everything. And yeah, the story of Silent Hill, this movie, basically it's about a girl called Heather, and she lives alone with her father. Her mother died apparently she had a car crash, and she doesn't have any memory of her childhood. But she keeps having these like visions, dreams, whatever, of like a really distorted, screwed up world. And her dad said, we have to change our names because I killed someone in the past, and the police are after me, so they constantly move around. So yeah, the movie starts off. We missed about the first 5-10 minutes of it. She's on this carousel talking to this girl, and this girl was like, "Oh, don't come to Silent Hill" or something, or "Do come to Silent Hill?" I can't remember. So she wakes up, and then yeah, she goes to her first day at school, and she's a new kid there. There's also a new kid called Vincent, and yeah, she's walking home. She realizes someone's following her, and she's like phoning her dad, and she's like, "What the hell?" He's like, "Okay, meet me at a safe place because we don't know what this man wants. We don't know who he is." So she goes to the mall, and basically her dad gets kidnapped. And she finds out that her dad's been kidnapped, and Vincent says, "Okay, I'll come with you. I have to go." She's like, "I have to go to Silent Hill." He's like, "No, no, no, you can't go there. You can't go there." But she's like, "I have to. It's my dad." And then he turns around, and he's like, "You can't go there." And she's like, "Why?" He's like, "Cause I'm part of this order, this like cult thing." And this cult thing, they basically have this sort of like triangle. It's like, I'm not saying it's an Illuminati symbol, but it looks like one. This like amulet thing. And they drew, when they kidnapped her dad, on the wall in blood they wrote, "Come to Silent Hill," and they wrote this symbol in blood. So she's like, "I have to find him. I've got this amulet." And he's like, "Okay, you have to find the other half of it, and you go to my crazy granddad in this asylum in Silent Hill, and he'll have it, and then you'll be able to find your dad." So she goes, whatever. She goes to Silent Hill. She's all like the crazy stuff, blah blah. She learns that basically, um, she's related to this girl called Alessa, and Alessa is this great evil. She's a little girl. She's this great evil. And what happened was, when she was younger, she was a normal child. Alessa was burned at the stake, but she didn't burn for whatever reason. And she had so much hatred in her for the people who did that to her, that it basically she took out the goodness in herself, and she put it onto the soul of a newborn baby who was the main character of this film called Heather. So it turns out that Heather and Alessa are sort of like two halves of one whole sort of thing. So yeah, so basically they come together and they become one again, and um she finds this cult, and the reason that they want her to come back to Silent Hill is so so that they can basically use Heather's body as a vessel for this god who will eventually erase all the evil and darkness that Les has brought to Silent Hill. That of course we see in the sort of screwed up things that happen there. And then basically the head of this cult dies. Heather gives her this amulet. The head of this cult dies after being killed off by the Pyramid Headman. And Heather and Vincent free Heather's dad. And, you know, all the evil, all the darkness from whatever from Silent Hill is gone. And then they're all three of them about to leave. When Heather's dad says, you know, your mum's trapped here, like your adopted mother's trapped here, because in the past apparently she basically sacrificed herself or something to save her child. He's like, I know she's here, I have to look for her. So basically he goes off and it's just Heather and Vincent. They escape Silent Hill and then the movie ends basically where Silent Hill's all cleared up, but then it has a sort of like shot where you see like police officers going into Silent Hill and all the dust returns and basically nothing's really fixed. So maybe that's another sequel where Les is not really gone, whatever. So that's basically the story of it. The positives about this film, it was really good in 3D. The way we were sat in the cinema, we weren't sat exactly in the middle because it was really packed out. So when things were jumping out at you, it wasn't exactly full on. But having said that, there was they felt like they actually put a lot of effort into the 3D. Things were jumping out at you, it looked really good, you know, when things were coming out. It wasn't like amazing. I think just because of our position where we were, but otherwise, yeah, it was pretty good. And as well, the environments were really good. It was very imaginative. The costumes were really good. I felt the main actress, was really good. And as well, the music was alright. And they had, you know, your typical isolated Silent Hill piano tune, which was there. The special effects were alright. They weren't like amazing. Some of it looked a bit shoddy, but I felt that it was imaginative, so that was really good. And yeah, I felt like graphically they put a lot of effort into this, and I really loved the fact that Sean Bean was in there. He was like my favourite character ever in this movie, because, you know, it's Sean Bean and I've got a massive thing about Sean Bean. And of course, Kit Harington was in there, and if you didn't know, Kit Harington plays Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. And Sean Bean plays Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, who is Jon Snow's dad. So yeah, I know it's like not really relevant, but I was like, yeah, you know, whatever. So yeah, okay, so those are the good things about this movie. I'm just gonna say that before I go on to the negative things, because I have to say that I really didn't like this movie that much. I think it wasn't a scary movie, not at all, but for some people, my friend, for example, she's not into video games. Her taste in movies, whatever, is very different from mine. She says she loved it. I didn't like this movie. So maybe for other people, maybe it's just me, but for other people, maybe it was a really, really good movie. So obviously I'm biased. Maybe I'm just one of the few people who didn't really like it. I've not looked online, I've not checked the reviews. But yeah, I felt it was kind of rushed all over. So for me, I'm just going to say that it didn't really have that scary atmosphere. The first Silent Hill movie was kind of scary to me, but maybe that was because I was younger. This one, no, I didn't jump, not at all. There were a lot of jump scares, a lot of kind of creepy, disgusting stuff, but I didn't jump, I didn't anything, nothing was scary at all. So yeah, just on that note, the negatives about this movie. The story, okay, was very typical. I don't know whether they sourced it from the original games or anything like that, but the way that it was done, it was kind of like, you knew what was going to happen, you knew that someone was going to die, you knew there was going to be a fight, you knew that they'd succeed in the end, you knew there could be in a cliffhanger ending, you knew it was going to happen. I mean, you see this stuff all the time, all today, and I really felt that they could have just gone a bit, you know, the extra step further, done something a bit more original, and they didn't really do that, which really kind of irritated me. And yeah, so the story was kind of generic. Some of the characters were really, really, really extremely redundant. For example, there's this like guy at the beginning who's following Heather, and he's like this private detective sort of thing. And it basically, the only reason he's there is to basically inform the viewer that about this cult. But other than that, they kind of put a bit of attention on him. But his only purpose is to serve the fact that he's told this cult who have hired him to find Heather to bring her back to Silent Hill that that he's told them where she is and she needs to run. And then they kind of took advantage of that situation, and they introduced some special effects and introduced sort of the world of Silent Hill, the dream world, the hallucinations of Silent Hill that she's having, and he gets killed and whatever. So that was kind of really redundant. The character of Vincent, again, I just thought that was so, like, I didn't like his character. It was just so stupid. He was like, oh, it was meant to be like a big reveal that he was like the son of this, this cult leader, and I really did not care. I just thought it was generic. It wasn't a shock. I really wasn't invested in him at all. The only character I did really like was probably Heather's dad. And that's because it was Sean Bean. Other than that, her dad was a bit of a bland character as well. I mean, there wasn't any depth, there wasn't any character development, it was just a series of events. Heather's going through all this really creepy stuff. It was kind of bland all the way through. There wasn't really any proper character interaction. There's a cheesy kiss between Vincent and Heather, and then that's it, and then he runs off. So I was like, whatever. The acting as well, I've got to say, was really bad. It was really bad in this movie. The main actress, she was really good. I felt she was really good. I felt she was believable. I felt she was like a, normal Hollywood actress, being believable, being realistic, in the way she said things, the way that her lines came across. There were other people, even Sean Bean's acting in this film felt so bad. I thought I'd never say that in my life, but Sean Bean in this film was awful. Even though his character was my favourite, because it's Sean Bean, I love Sean Bean as a general rule, but this movie really did not shine. He did not shine at all. And I thought that was such a waste. I mean, he's such a charming person. I mean, he can fulfill so many roles. And the role that he was given, I think it was because of the role he was given was very bland. He didn't really shine, not at all. And the role of Vincent, the acting was pretty bad. He's meant to be like super serious and super like dramatic. I just thought it was over the top. I was like, really, chill the hell out. Say something in a normal tone. And it just felt like really staged all the time. Like everything was convenient, and it led on to like the next thing. I think not everything in a movie needs to be convenient. It doesn't need to lead on to something. There were nice scenes, where you could have like character interaction. There really wasn't any of that in here. It was just one character telling one character telling another character something, so that character could go and do something to carry the story on, to carry the movie on. And that kind of really irritated me, because I really felt that, honestly, the interaction between Heather and her dad could have been amazing. I think Vincent could have been a really interesting character. He could have been really funny, but it was so super serious. And I understand it was Silent Hill, so it's not a comedy or anything like that, but I felt there was so much more potential here, and it's just like they didn't give it any room to breathe. That was kind of irritating. The monsters weren't scary at all. I think the movie tried to be scary, but honestly, it didn't scare me. Not one bit did it scare me. The only thing that kind of made me feel a bit weird was this scene where you see this man, he's like hanging upside down, and it's in the sort of like hallucination world, and someone's like cutting flesh off his stomach and frying it for burgers. That was kind of disgusting. It was actually really shocked me, because I didn't think you'd see this kind of thing, because it was weird. It was like, I didn't get what this movie was trying to be. I understand that it's from an established series, so obviously it couldn't really take creative liberties, but it had to do things that really only work in video games, because obviously in video games you play the stuff and then you have cutscenes, so it doesn't feel as rushed. It feels more spaced out, whatever. And so this is why it all felt rushed. And I completely forgot what I was saying. But anyway, this movie honestly was rushed. They should have taken time to give more development. And I didn't get whether it was trying to be a horror or a gore movie or a suspense or a thriller. I think it tried to do all those things. I think it really, really, really rushed itself, and it really failed. I think if they gave it an extra hour, maybe an extra half an hour, it would have been so much better. So yeah, generic plot, generic characters. It was good in 3D. The scenery was really good. The clothing was really good. The main actress was really good. But some disappointing performances from other actors that you thought would have been really good. Pyramid Headman was really good. The way they put the characters, the monsters on screen was really good as well. Effects weren't great, but they weren't terrible. But yeah, go and see it in 3D if you can. Otherwise, just avoid. It's not something you'd really pay to see. If you're gonna get a discount ticket, go and see it. But yeah, so honestly, a 2 out of 5.